Rapid software development is all about reducing the delivery speed and delivering the working software as fast as possible by reusing the code, then by reducing the documentation, and to give more emphasis on developers rather than the processes. It is rapid software development. Then another very important thing about rapid software development is by using so many tools like automation tools and other design tools, you can greatly reduce the time of the designers and developers and also the testers. So in this way, rapid application development tools helps greatly in reducing the delivery time. The overall objective of rapid software development is to deliver the working software as early as possible. Then after that, we discussed about agile methods. Okay, tell me at least one or two points about agile methods. Yesterday, what you understood. I'm sharing the screen. Hope you all can see the screen. Tell me one or two points about agile methods. Huh? Hello, anyone? Uma? Uma, are you there? Hello? When the agile method was developed, in late 1980s, agile methods were developed to overcome the drawbacks of waterfall model. In waterfall model, we used to concentrate more on processes, documentation, and the requirements were static. That means fixed requirements people used to get. Then when the businesses got evolved and somewhere they felt waterfall model somewhere doesn't fit to our requirements. Not only waterfall model, any plan-based model doesn't fit to our modern day requirements. So then then they thought about thinking about agile methodology. And study this difference between both the methods, plan-driven and agile method. Here also, that also we saw. In case of agile methods, we have only requirements engineering and design and implementation. So no much emphasis about preparing exclusive SRS document and so on. Then yeah, this is our differences. Agile methods. Okay, this is our Now we'll start from here. Agile manifesto. So first of all, we need to understand what is Agile manifesto. Agile manifesto is all about uncovering better ways of developing a software by doing it and helping others do it. Through this work, we have come to value individuals and interactions over processes and tools. So look at the very first point. So we value individuals and interactions over processes and tools. That means in plan-based models, we are giving more importance for processes and tools rather than individuals and interactions. Whereas in Agile, we give more importance for the individuals and interactions, because every day one or two interactions will be there with the client or with the team members in Agile methods, so that you need not worry about documentation and detailed design. So you give importance for individuals and their interactions. So what happens when the individuals are having very high clarity and they are interacting with all other teammates to help each other, so that gives better yield than just following the process. Then look at the second point. We value working software over comprehensive documentation. That means to deliver the working software as soon as possible is more important than preparing a comprehensive documentation. So documentation is always very good. So provided you have a lot of time for delivery. So when you have a lot of time to deliver a working software, in that instance, you can prepare a lot of documentation. So that looks good. But what happens in modern day businesses, they don't give much time for you. So within 1 or 2 months, you are supposed to deliver the working software. That means newer version of the software. Customer collaboration over contract negotiation. That means we value customer collaboration over contract negotiation. In case of Agile, in each and every phase, we will make the customer available for the development team. So, and in each of the phases of software development life cycle, the customer has to give his approval and he has to suggest changes so that will be more beneficial rather than simply signing the contract, software contract. The next point, we value responding to the change or following a plan. So always, since here the customer himself or the customer representative is part of the development team, he will suggest the changes, whatever. Say whenever you come up with any design, it is suitable or not, he will tell. And say for example, you have designed a particular type of GUI, and he may suggest a better GUI for you. Okay, that means just before delivery itself, what he needs he is suggesting to you, so that greatly reduces your time. Responding to change or following a plan. Whereas in case of waterfall model, what happens? You will be following a plan. That means it's a plan-based model, and accordingly you'll be developing some GU until it comes to acceptance test. Customer will not respond to you, isn't it? So whatever the design you have done, whatever the core, whatever the GU you have created. So if you want the feedback until acceptance test, you have to wait. But here it is not like that. In case of Agile, he is part of the development team. That is, while there is value in the items of the right, we value the items on the left more. Okay, that's the meaning. So if we value individuals, working software, customer collaboration, and we are responding to the change, that means obviously we deliver very high quality software. Okay, that's the meaning. Okay, that's about Agile Manifesto. So even this may be asked as a question. Explain Agile Manifesto along with principles like that. What are the principles of Agile? Customer involvement. Customer should be closely involved throughout the development process. Look at here. Customer involvement means he should be involved closely throughout the development process, and his role is to provide and prioritize new system requirements. That means he is responsible for providing the requirements and making it understand to the development team and to prioritize them. So which requirement is to be implemented in the first iteration and which can be implemented in the second iteration. So all those priorities will be assigned by the customer. Then incremental delivery. As I told, say in many cases, the newer working software will be delivered once in a month or once in a 2 months, and even once in 15 days also. And even it is possible to deliver a working software every day. If you look at Facebook, see every day they'll release new software, but we will not come to know. But usually what they do, every day they will update at least one very small feature every single day. Every single day they will update one small feature, let it be the security feature, privacy feature, or any geo related features. Every day they'll update one single feature. So that means we need to understand how fast businesses are evolving, and at the same time also we should know how it will be made available for everyone. So for example, today Facebook is updating one feature. First, initially what they do, they'll make it available only within the organization, and they will try to identify bugs. If there are no bugs identified within the organization, then they will make it available for some 5 lakh people. Then then they will make it available for 5 lakh people for, say for example, for a period of 1 week. Then they'll get the feedback if any bug arises. If there are no bugs found, then they'll make it available for few more lakhs of people. Then at the end they'll make it available for public, everyone. So like that, whenever the newer functionalities are implemented, slowly they will make it available for the public in a couple of days or couple of months. Then people not process. That means in agile, as per the agile methodology, more emphasis should be given for people rather than the processes, and we need to appreciate the skill set of the individuals. Say for example, some are good at coding, some are good at automation, building the automation pipeline, and some are good at testing the product and identifying more and more bugs. See, being a test engineer, in case if you are identifying more and more bugs, so you'll be appreciated like that. So we need to appreciate people, not the process, and we should give them autonomy so that they can come up with their own ways of implementing the requirements. Then embrace change. See, agile methodology means you should be always ready to implement newer changes. That means always the customer come up with the new requirements. So you need to think about how well you can accommodate changes to the existing system. Then maintain simplicity. So maintaining simplicity applies to each and every phase of software development lifecycle. Let it be requirements. So maintain simplicity so that you will not do a lot of documentation. Instead of that, you prepare some abstract requirements document. Then what is to be implemented, you better you convey it to the development team so they will implement. So like that, you have to maintain simplicity in requirements and you have to maintain simplicity in design. You need not design too many detailed design diagrams. Instead of that, as it is part and parcel of agile method that every day you have to do interactions with the developers, so at the time you can tell so what is to be implemented. And moreover here the customer himself is part of the development team, so it becomes easy to convey what is to be implemented, and so that simplicity can be maintained both in SRS design and also in coding. In coding also it is very important to maintain simplicity, so otherwise it becomes difficult to implement newer changes. Then agile method applicability. So here we'll study actually when we can use agile methodology and what kind of projects can be built by using agile methods. So the first of all, agile method can be used in small projects and medium sized projects. When I say small projects, see the duration can be 6 months to 1 month. And when I say medium sized product, the overall development time maybe 2 to 5 years or 2 to 4 years. Say when I say 2 to 4 years, let us assume 4 years. So you can plan working the release of working software once in every 6 months. That means 4 years means you'll be having 8 releases. So you'll be prioritizing the requirements by taking consent from the customer, and once in every 6 months you'll be releasing newer version of the software. In case if your client is a business, like if they are running a business, then even so the frequency of software release will be even smaller. Say for example, you may be releasing the working software once in every 3 months, like that. Product development, where a software company is developing a small or medium sized product for sale, and virtually all software products and apps are now developed using an agile approach. So now it is the trend that it doesn't matter what kind of project you are doing, each and every project will use agile methods. Okay, next I'll tell you why they will use agile methods and how and why it is very much popular. Then another scenario where we use agile method is while developing the customized software. Say custom system development means, say for example, already some product is there and you need to tweak it a little bit so that that system can meet the requirements of the new client. So in this scenario, what happens? Lot of components are already available. You just maybe you need to configure them, and very few components you need to develop from the scratch. And to implement such projects also you can use agile methodology. Agile development techniques. One of the very important agile development techniques is the extreme programming. We call it as XP. In IT, they call it as XP. It is one of the popular methods to develop projects by using agile methodology. It's a very influential agile method developed in the late 1990s that introduced a range of agile development techniques. Extreme programming, that is XP, takes an extreme approach to iterative development. See once again, so now whatever the principles I told that is part of agile method, all those principles are applicable for extreme programming because extreme programming is one of the techniques under agile methodology. New versions may be built several times per day. Look at here. New versions may be built several times per day. So that's why I took the example of Facebook. Facebook every day they will have one or three, minimum one to three three new features implemented every single day, and increments are delivered to customers every 2 weeks. That means, see, even though they are coming up with newer features every day, the working software will be delivered only after 2 weeks in case of extreme programming. All tests must be run for every build, and the build is only accepted if tests run successfully. So this point is very important. See, the terminology what we use in academics and the terminology what they use in the industry are totally different. You need to understand what is the meaning of build. See, build file means the file which contains working code without any bug. Say for example, today your team leader has given some target to you to implement two features, and you have written the program, and you have reviewed the code such that it doesn't contain any bugs. You have done your part of work for today, and while just before leaving the office, you are showing that or you are submitting that build file to the team lead. That means the build file is nothing but the working code without any errors. That is called a build. I think, have you ever used IDEs, students? Have you used any of the IDEs? Eclipse, Dreamweaver,
Yes,
NetBeans?
sir. Python
Yeah,
IDE.
yeah. It will show after compiling the code, it will show build successful, isn't it? What does it mean? Build successful means the code is working fine without any errors. That's the meaning of build. Otherwise, if any error occurs, it shows build failed, isn't it? In red color, it shows build fail. All tests must be run for every build, and the build is only accepted if tests run successfully. That means when you are implementing extreme programming, to test your source code, say for example, you have written some functionality and build is successful. To say that it is really successful, there are test cases designed by the testing team. So your code has to run through all those test cases. Okay, then only if it runs successfully, then we can accept that the build is successful. Otherwise, it cannot be accepted. Look at the extreme programming release cycle. Extreme programming starts with select user stories for release. For this release, students, in agile methods, you need to understand how the requirements will be documented. See, the way we document requirements in waterfall model is very highly professional manner. So there we say user requirements, system requirements, domain requirements, requirement ID, and so many technical terms we use. But here, all those things are simplified. Okay, I'll show you some sample stories here. See here, whatever the requirements narrated by the client are called as stories. That will be written in the form of a story, and we call it as story card. Then one story card will be divided into multiple task cards. Okay, whatever the requirements that the client narrates, that is called as the story. We call it as the story card. We write down in the story card. Then, by using that story card as the basis, we divide it into multiple tasks. We call it as task card. And these task cards are very much important for us. So based upon the number of task cards, the project manager will calculate what is the effort required and what is the amount we may have to spend. That means the cost estimation is done based upon the number of tasks. Then see, once the stories are broken down into tasks, then by consulting the customer, we will come to know how much requirements we may have to implement. That means how many tasks we may have to implement. Based upon that, we will estimate the budget and also we will plan. So how many days it may take. That means we will plan the release. We will plan for the first release of the working software. Then we start development. That is, then we start development of the simple design, then coding, then integrate whatever the functionalities that you have developed, integrate them and test the software, then release. So after releasing, then evaluate the system. So as part of evaluation, once again the customer comes up with new requirements. So once he comes up with new requirements, then you evaluate. So where to implement, how to implement, what modifications are to be done to the existing system so that I can add new features, and if there are any unwanted features, so how to remove that. So all such things can be planned. So once again the same thing starts. Once again select user stories for this release, that means second release. Then once again break down so stories into tasks. Then look at the number of tasks, then accordingly calculate the cost, that is cost estimation, then accordingly plan how many days it may take to release the working software, then develop, integrate, test, then release the software, then once again evaluate the system. Okay, that's the extreme programming release cycle. Then what are the practices of extreme programming? Incremental planning. Requirements are recorded on story cards. Look at here. Requirements are recorded on story cards, and the stories to be included in a release are determined by the time available and their relative priority. That means, so how much time is, say, for example, if the customer is telling, I need working software within 6 months, then how many tasks can be implemented in, we calculate how many tasks can be implemented in 6 months, then what is the cost incurred, then accordingly we plan the release. The developers break these stories into tasks. Look at here, who will break stories into tasks? It is the task of the developer to break these stories into development tasks. See figure 3.5 and 3.6, that is in the next slide that I will show you. So here you can see where it is. Look at here. This is an example of the story card. See, prescribing medication. The record of the patient must be open for input. Click on the medication field and select either current medication, new medication, or formulary. Then if you select current medication, you will be asked to check the dose. If you wish to change the dose, enter the new dose and confirm the prescription. If you choose new medication, the system assumes that you know which medication you wish to prescribe. So like that, the story is being narrated. So whatever the user tells as the story, so that will be written like this. So this is called as the story card. Now, by taking this story card as a basis, further the software developer will break down this story card into tasks. You can see here. So the first task is change dose of prescribed drug. Second one is formulary selection. Third task is dose checking. So that means this one story card is divided into 3 tasks. Okay, this is task card 1, task card 2, and task card 3. See, every task card contains task card number and the name. Below that, requirements. See here, dose checking is a safety precaution to check that doctor has not prescribed a dangerously small or large dose. This is one feature, or this is one requirement. Second point, using the formulary ID for the generic drug name, look up the formulary and retrieve the recommended maximum and minimum dose. So this is the second requirement. Like that, the say the task card contains the features or the requirements that are to be implemented. Then smaller releases. Releases, why? Because for each of the iteration we select only few requirements to implement. That's why the releases are smaller releases. And the releases are frequent and incremental. So the meaning of incremental is, see, from one version to another version, we are adding more capabilities to the system, hence we call it as incremental development. Then simple design. Enough design is carried out to meet the current requirements and no more. So you go with some simple design which can meet the current requirements. That is good enough. Then test first development. That means an automated unit test framework is used to write tests for a new piece of functionality before that functionality itself is implemented. That means just if you come to know what is the requirement and how it is going to be implemented, based upon that you can create an automated test case. Say for example, in Java we have a framework called as JUnit. JUnit is a Java framework which is ideally suited for automated unit testing. Okay, like that there are so many testing frameworks to perform unit testing. So that means even the tests are created even before the implementation is done. Then refactoring. This refactoring means code refactoring. So you can apply the concept of refactoring both for the design as well as the source code. Our developers are expected to refactor the code continuously as soon as possible. Code improvements are found. This keeps the code simple and maintainable. So refactoring the code is nothing but code optimization. Since you are optimizing the code, it looks compact and it looks error free, so that when you want to do modifications to the existing code, you will be having very good clarity, isn't it? So always refactoring helps you to maintain the code as simple as possible. Then pair programming. Developers works in pairs, checking each other's work and providing the support to always do a good job. See, instead of assigning a task to one person, what if we assign it to two people? They will share their work and they will share their views, and the outcome will be a very good quality product. That means when they develop the software, so it will be of very high quality, because here the people will exchange their views, they support each other, then they work. Then collective ownership. The pairs of developers work on all areas of the system. The pairs of developers work on all the areas of the system. So we need to understand all the areas of the system means we need to understand starting from getting the story, dividing it into tasks, then implementing. So that means implementing means writing the source code, then cross-checking it, then deploying it. So even before deployment, the testing should be done. So in all these phases, the people will share the work. The people will share each other works. Hence, it is a collective ownership. It is collective ownership, so that no islands of expertise develop. That means here there is nothing like a domain expert or an expertise, any expert. Because here the people are sharing the work and doing collectively, so there is nothing like expertise, and all the developers take responsibility for all of the code. Anyone can change anything. So look at here, anyone can change anything means, see here say for example, let us assume there is a team of 6 developers, and each of the developer knows within the given iteration what are the features that we are developing, then what kind of methodology we are using, what is our process. So therefore anybody can implement, and anyhow it is pair programming. There is nothing like single owner for that code. Anyone can change anything because they have the complete clarity about what is to be done for this particular iteration or the particular release. Then continuous integration. As soon as the work on a task is complete, it is integrated into the whole system. After any such integration, all the unit tests in the system must pass. See, as soon as the task of the individual developers is finishing, they have to integrate that code with the whole system. Then when they do integration, obviously they have to run the test cases. So before running the test cases, they will be checking the individual components. That is component testing will be done. After that, that is component testing is nothing but unit test, then integration testing. So all the test cases will be run before accepting the software. Then sustainable pace. Large amounts of overtime are not considered acceptable as the net effect is often to reduce code quality and medium-term productivity. So here you cannot give large amounts of overtime. So that is the reason it is pair programming. See, see what happens when you say when there is no concept of pair programming. That means the task will be given to individual person, whereas here the task will be given to one pair, so that there won't be much delay in finishing their work. That's why we call it as sustainable pace. Then on-site customer. The meaning of on-site customer is here a representative of the end user or from the customer is made available to the development team for the full time. Say for example, so 5 days a company works for 5 days. That is from Monday till Friday. So all those 5 days, a representative of the client, he should also come to the office. He should also come to the office. So that means his availability will be there, and then and there itself he will suggest changes if at all any changes are required for the client. A representative of the end user of the system should be available full time to the use of the XP team, that is extreme programming team. In an extreme programming process, the customer is a member of development team and is responsible for bringing in system requirements to the team for implementation. So even in the middle of the release, if there are any changes to be made, that will be suggested by the customer representative. Now let us see so how XP syncs with agile principles. Incremental development is supported through smaller frequent system releases. See, incremental development is one of the principles of agile. So that will be implemented in XP by using smaller frequent releases. Then one more principle of agile is customer involvement, means full-time customer engagement with the team, because as per extreme programming, customer himself is part of the development team and he must be fully available. Then another principle is people not process through pair programming. That means through pair programming we are giving more importance to the people within the team, that is to the pair. It is a pair which is doing the work, not the individuals. So and the collective ownership, and the ownership for the code is it's a collective ownership. Whereas in waterfall model, say for example, if if a bug is identified during the testing phase, then the test engineer will identify who is the developer who has written the code. Then he will send an email. So so this is the piece of code written by you and these are the bugs identified. Kindly rectify the bugs and once again send it back to testing. But here it is not like that. The testing team cannot pinpoint a single individual. So he will identify the bug and he will send it to the developer team. Anybody within the developer team can rectify that bug. So that's called people not process. Then change supported through regular system releases to accommodate newer changes. So there will be frequent system releases. in extreme programming. So that is once in every 2 weeks. So that is a normal thing. Normally, once in every 15 days, working software will be released. Maintaining simplicity through constant refactoring of code by optimizing the code continuously, by reviewing and optimizing the code continuously, you can maintain simplicity. That is called refactoring. Refactoring is nothing but reviewing the code and optimizing it. That is called refactoring. Influential XP practices. Extreme programming has a technical focus and is not easy to integrate with management practice in most organizations. So technically people feel that so it may be very difficult to integrate extreme programming into the at the management level and it is the common across many managements. That means since they feel that see, from so many years, let us assume a company. There is a company who is using plan-based methodology like waterfall model, and even when they use iterative model, they are using plan-based approach. So, like that, they are working. Let us assume. So suddenly, if any new project manager is has joined the company, let us assume a new project manager has joined the company, and he wished to implement extreme programming. That is agile methodology. So then it is not so easy for the management to accept it because earlier they used to give one task to one individual, but here you should give one task to one pair. That means there are two people involved to do one job. So then they may think that so simply we may be wasting the resources like that. So that's one of the issue. That is one of the management issue. Then consequently, while agile development uses practices from XP, that is extreme programming, the method as originally defined is not widely used. That means, so this is the practical issue. See students, we now hear whatever I told that is theory. So if you document whatever I told that is extreme programming, exactly 100% in the same manner you cannot implement. Different manager will interpret extreme programming in a different way. So therefore, you cannot expect like how it is documented extreme programming 100% in the same manner that is implemented in the organization. Okay, with little bit variations, with little bit variations that extreme programming will be implemented in the organizations. What are the key practices? User stories for specification. So this is common. Okay, in every organization, if they are using agile methodology, say they don't prepare very highly professional SRS document, what they do in plan-based approach. So just they use user stories for specification. That is to collect the requirements, they use user stories. Then every organization will do refactoring, that is code optimization. Even that will be done in waterfall model also, code refactoring. Then test first development. That means test cases will be ready even before you finish off writing the source code. Okay, that is called test first development. See, once you know, say in the beginning itself, the testers will get the story card. That means they will get an idea what the developers are going to implement. Based upon that, they can prepare the test cases. That is called test first development. And also, there are automation tools available for unit test cases, for unit test case generation. Then pair programming. These are the key practices. So mandatory practices are 1, 2, 3, 4. That is user stories, refactoring, test first development, and pair programming. Students, remember one question will be there on agile methodology. So if you are lucky, even there can be two questions also, 10 to 20 marks. So explain agile methodology in detail or explain one or two techniques in agile methodology or exclusively them ask explain Scrum for project management or explain extreme programming. You can expect one or two questions from this concept. Then user stories for requirements. In XP, that is in extreme programming, a customer or user is part of the XP team and is responsible for making decisions on requirements. User requirements are expressed as a user stories or scenarios. So user stories are also called as scenarios. Whatever the requirements that customer tells, that will be written in the form of a sheet, then that will be converted into a Word document. We call it as user story or a scenario. These are written on cards and the development team break them down into implementation tasks. These tasks are the basis of schedule and cost estimates. That means from single user story, the developers will create multiple task cards, and depending upon how many task cards are there, so the cost estimation is done and also the project schedule will be prepared. The customer chooses the stories for inclusion in the next release. So within the user story, the customer will tell, so out of these many points have to be implemented in first release. That means only selected features need to be implemented, that will be decided by the customer based upon his priorities. See, this is a simple story card or the scenario. Students, look at here, this is called as the scenario or the story card. Now this is the task card. See, this single story card is divided into 3 task cards. You can see like this. Each task card contains name of the task card and the number, then the requirements. This is called as requirement. Requirement 1, 2, 3. See, this task card 3 contains 3 requirements. Students will continue in the next class. I will take the attendance. It's already 9:25. USN 1.